Techbusters proudly brought to you by Ericsson.
Good evening and welcome to Techbusters, the best technology show to tell you about everything that's going on. And joining me in studio is Aki Anastasiou, who is enthusiastically reading, I see, the latest copy of Stuff magazine, packed with information about virtual reality. And it's what Aki reads actually before the show, so he knows what to say during the show. Isn't that true?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm very fascinated by your magazine, and if this is what you call virtual reality, fragrances in a technology magazine,
It's
but I suppose
Father's
it's
Day.
a boys' thing. It's Father's Day. Yeah. Listen, you got some nice fragrances over here, but I love the edition, and I love the fact that it's about VR, because this is where it's going. It's amazing the kind of work that's being done in the VR space at the moment. It's super exciting. You know, the debate is whether VR is going to go the way of 3D. I don't think so. When you've got a player like Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook, who own Oculus Rift, and they are pushing it, and they're pushing the experience of virtual reality, I somehow think it's going to succeed.
Well, I think I tend to agree with you. I mean, unusually so, but...
That's a first. Just repeat that. Let's get that for the record.
I tend to agree with you, unusually so.
I'm getting
But
cardiac.
what's going to make or break it, a bit like 3D, is the content, right?
Yes.
We need compelling content, compelling applications,
Yeah.
More than just, entertainment. The goggles, are they a barrier to entry? I'm not so sure.
Well, this is the thing. The goggles are obviously going to be a barrier to entry, but Mark Zuckerberg had a very interesting interview a few months ago, and he said that it took the smartphone 10 years before it went mainstream. He thinks that it's going to take virtual reality within the next 5 years. That's how quick it's going to be. And the barrier to entry, those big goggles, I think we're going to get to a point within the next 4 or 5 years where those goggles are going to shrink to such a point where they'll just be like a set of glasses that you put on your face, and you'll experience 3D and virtual reality all in one, and augmented reality, all those kind of things. Anyway, an interesting world, but we'd love to hear your views. What is your view? Have you tried the goggles, by the way? Have you tried wearing those goggles, and have you been immersed in that virtual reality experience? We'd love to hear from you. On Twitter, we're at Techbusters SA. Use the hashtag Techbusters. But before we do anything on the show tonight, let's find out what's coming up.
Tonight on Techbusters, we head off to the launch of the Huawei P9, which was handled with the company's usual flair, and Aki attends a competition of a different kind to find South Africa's fastest fingers on Microsoft Excel. All this and much more tonight on Techbusters.
Airbnb, the internet-based travel booking service, has revealed how South Africans are using this tool to make extra money every month. They say on average, local hosts are earning an average 28,800 Rand per year extra. Now, that's a very useful thing. People are still flocking to South Africa despite the visa debacle, and the company says they have reported 190% growth in local hosts to 7,500, with approximately 134,000 guests coming in. And that represents a total growth of 250%. Guests stay an average of 5 nights. And again, tourism is an area that should be focused in this country, seeing as we have so much to offer, and we have the benefit of our very weak rand, which is great for international guests.
And the interesting thing about that particular founder, who's a youngster, he's like 30s, he was telling us that he actually doesn't own any property himself. And it's quite an interesting stat, because the more I think about that and the more reading that you do, this young generation, millennials and Generation X, they don't have any inclination to own properties or even buy a car. Why would you want to buy a car if you've got technology companies like Uber that are able to get you around?
And
you don't
it's
need
tax deductible.
It is indeed. It is indeed.
I mean, I thought you were going to mention the fact that we sit down to speak to this, global CEO, and the first thing you do is slap me. This poor guy didn't know what to do with himself.
Well, you deserved it.
So in an interesting development, Huawei, the Chinese phone manufacturer, now have a 10% market share of the South African cellular business. It's a pretty sizable chunk considering how young the company still is and how recently it began expanding into smartphones, and very impressive smartphones. We went to the recent launch of their new flagship device, the P9, at the Sandton Convention Center, and it was a very interesting launch. And of course, the P9 now comes with dual cameras and a Leica lens. This is very interesting development, and we've seen Huawei come from quite far behind to make very luxurious, very well-designed devices. Let's take a look at the launch.
Change the way you see the world.
Fashion media have started taking note of us, not only from a product perspective, but also from a fashion and a style perspective. Analysts are predicting big things for Huawei. So, what is the secret to all this success? We call it the Global Innovation Hive. But why a hive? Because similar to bees, we believe in collaboration, working towards a shared purpose.
Since I joined them, I really understand that it's all about the satisfaction of the end consumer and how we can demonstrate that we're capable of associating our brand with clarity, sophistication, design. The fact that we are also co-partnering on the long term with Leica. This is where we are today, and I think for the premium side you can consider that those are just qualitative drops that we are claiming on the brand image side, where we are cultivating a new path, meeting photographers, associating ourselves with fashion designers. So the clear, I would say, marriage of technology and fashion that take us to a bright future. This summer we're bringing you a new phone and a new camera where you can actually share all your memories with everyone and also showcase features like a professional photographer. So we're permitting you, allowing you to explore your new side, being a real photographer just with a P9.
So P9 have two lenses, two camera systems, and these two lenses is specially designed by Leica for us. For Leica, for Huawei, for you and me who buy the P9 phone. So I remember when I talk to Leica people, they teach me three things about photography. First, light. We need to get more light. So P9 have dual lens and dual camera. It can capture very much more light compared with typical single lens, single camera phone. Double up. And actually, because of one lens is color lens, color team, right? I remember. Another is black and white team, black and white lens. So the black and white lens can capture 3,000% more light. That means even in the no light condition, you can capture a lot of light to make the beautiful photo and beautiful picture. But using P9, you still can capture so clear, so beautiful photo, even under a strong light in front of you. So you get a low light, perfect performance, high clarity, and the third thing is about focus. Because we have dual lens, and also we got laser, so we combine three together to become a hybrid focusing. Laser focusing, depth focusing, as well as contrast focusing.
You really have a range of accessible smartphones that will give you all the best feature in a cost-effective manner. Clearly, we're addressing ourselves to a higher power purchase. Entrepreneur, businessmen and women traveling the world that need dual SIM, that like some of these people that love to have their watch on a GMT time and have a dual time. And I think technology can do that for us. So we too much often see one-shot momentum from other brands that try actually just to put some beautiful glitter powder in one moment, in one event, but no follow-up. And for Huawei, it's quite different. We're here to stay, we're here to last, and I see myself and you sitting again in 10 years talking about this beautiful adventure. This is what I see.
Benjamin Leftsov is the Vice President of Enterprise Business at Kaspersky Lab, one of the big internet security providers based in Moscow. Benjamin, we've seen a fantastic change in the way the world is, from crime going into cybercrime, and there's a very real danger for businesses on the internet because of the way they can be so easily exposed and hacked.
Yeah, Tabe, that's true. Actually, the world dramatically changed, In the past, normally, it was just one hacker who tried to infect as much computers as possible. And for antivirus companies, it was just one need, to identify this particular malware in one file. Now we face that a lot of people organized in criminal groups are attacking organizations, big enterprises. And they are supported with a kind of a marketplace.
Exactly.
Yeah. There is no need for them to create all the technologies from the scratch. They just buy it from the market. If you want to run DDoS attack, there is no need to infect millions of computers. You just rent the botnet, the set of zombie PCs with a captured control over them. And I can give you much more examples. So the world is much more dangerous from the point of cybercrime. That's true. According to Kaspersky Lab stats, the duration of I would say, typical tailored attack is about 200 days, or even longer. Yeah.
2/3 of a year, that's how long the sales cycle, for want of a better word, is.
That's a preparation cycle.
Yes.
Yes. And for government organization, yeah, it's even longer. We identify some attacks that took about 3 years.
Okay.
For 3 years, they have been preparing their actions.
And of course, going after an employee is the weak link in the chain, right? I mean, in the last week, I must have got 5 different Facebook Messenger links saying, "Are you in this video?" Obviously I'm not, but it's one link, as you say, is enough to get that malware onto your system, onto your phone, into the business system.
That's true. The problem is now there is no, I would say, clear border, clear urge between the private life and the enterprise network.
Exactly.
People bring their own devices into their network. People are, when working, people are still connected from the same PC. They are connected to their Facebook, to other social networks. There is no so-called air gap.
Yeah.
There is no isolation between their corporate data and the private data. That's why Kaspersky pushing to our customers their security awareness initiatives.
Yes.
We run a kind of a game with the office personnel of our customers and deliver in an easy to understand form, actually in the form of a game.
Yes, yes.
The very important information about which kind of passwords they should use. That's a big problem. People invest a lot into technical tools, security policies, but if personnel use short passwords,
yes,
it's just wasted money. We face many situations when they find their lost USB and then plug in the computer.
Amazing that people do something that foolish, and they do.
Absolutely, they do. They try, because what's a USB? I would like to try, and it is infected. After that, after just few clicks, the PC becomes infected. And this problem starts from the bottom line and go up. If take a look at the country level, there are many issues as well. For example, some time ago we ran some research, on the security posture around South Africa. We just analyze some, I would say, open source information, and we identify that more than 100 industrial systems are available from the internet.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very terrifying.
Yes.
Well, Venyman, thank you very much. I personally believe you can't be paranoid enough when it comes to internet security. I run multiple firewalls, internet security from Kaspersky. So if you're not doing that, best you.
We got this invitation to say that South Africa is hosting its own kind of Excel championship to discover who is the best at Excel in this country. And they had this competition at Microsoft, and they opened up this competition for people to come, and they narrowed it down, and they had a whole day of Excel spreadsheets, and they basically gave them an exam, and guys competed against each other on the specific task.
You've got to say that the programming, the little bits they program inside Excel are called macros.
Macros, exactly. You know, so you put your plus, and you create the own little formula inside there, and the sums. So it's insane to think that such a competition exists, but we are part of many competitions that happen around the world with Excel. But what is astonishing is, I mean, we spend a lot of time on our computers, right? You spend a lot of time on your computer. Toby spends a lot of time on your computer. But these guys spend on average between 7 and 9 hours a day on their computers, not doing Facebook or anything else. They only do Excel. This was my trip to Microsoft South Africa for the Excel Championships. Check it out. You're not going to believe this.
So what's happening right now is we're going to be announcing the winner of the SA Excel Champs. You can cut the tension here with a knife. It's very tense. Let's find out who the winner is. They're going to Brazil. This is like the Olympics of Excel.
For our first Excel champ ever, the guy that's going to wear the green cape the whole weekend, put this on his mantle piece next to a picture of his wife, girlfriend, favorite pet, is Cornet. Yay! Congratulations, Cornet. Just hand this over. Wear the cape.
Oh my gosh, look at this.
That is my husband, Cornet, yes.
Does he spend all day on Excel?
Pretty much, he is an Excel developer, so his bread and butter does depend on it. But yes, he does, and he loves it. He's passionate about it, so I couldn't be happier and prouder for him.
Cornet, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
How does it feel being South Africa's? Hold up your trophy, let's have a look at this.
It feels absolutely amazing. I'm very overwhelmed. I'm exceptionally happy. This is like what I do. So this is.
You're about to start crying.
I am about to start crying. Yes, that's what I do. I cry a lot, all the time.
Well done. I mean, this is an amazing achievement. When you tell people what you do, what do? You're like an Excel guru. How do you describe yourself?
Well, I'm a corporate trainer and I'm a developer, so that's what I tell people. I'm also a business owner, so all those things.
So tell us what you did today to win this award.
I followed the instructions, and luckily, I think I've got a bit of an advantage because I trained this. So I kind of have an idea of what they were asking. So I think that's great. I think that's I was lucky. I was lucky as well that the other guys maybe misread some of the questions. Just luck has a lot to do with it, I think.
What advice can you give people that they can get the best out of Excel?
Keep it simple. The biggest problem that people have when it comes to Excel is the fact that they take data sets and break it up. So people who make the biggest mistake in Excel is people who have a January sheet, a February sheet, a March sheet. Excel has the ability to take everything and consolidate it and split it very simply. So keep your data together, keep it simple. Don't try and go over the top with financial calculators and stuff. Like, keep the stuff together, keep it in database format, and that is, in my opinion, the best way to work with Excel.
What do you love the most about Excel? The thing that blows your mind?
Well, every time I learn something new, that is my favorite thing. So at the moment I'm on array formulas. I love array formulas.
Array formulas?
Yes.
What on earth are array formulas?
It's really, it's trying to do a calculation, but not just one-to-one type of thing where you take a whole data set of information and compare it to another data set of information, rather than a one-to-one A1 is equal to A2 type of formula.
You're a legend. Let's share it for South Africa's Microsoft SA Excel champion!
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mark Dorfling.
Yes.
What? Listen, this is an incredibly geeky thing that you guys are doing over here, but it's actually very cool at the same time, because Excel is such a powerful business tool. Where does the idea for today come from?
So, look, Aki, I would love to take credit for the idea, but it's our Scandinavian colleagues in Denmark, Sweden, and Norway. They came up with the idea first. I mean, actually, in actual fact, it was the Swedish guys that ran it last year for the first time to celebrate the birthday of Excel, which is now 25 years old. So we said, okay, hey, the guys have had success up there. Why don't we do it in South Africa? We worked with our partner, Legit Smart Solutions. They came up with the Excel spreadsheets, and they were like pretty challenging. I consider myself a bit of an Excel user, but I can tell you what, I'm no champ.
What did the competitors have to do today to compete in today's Excel championship?
Okay, so today we asked them to do, there were 3 challenges. The second challenge was a graph, so they had to take a bunch of data and present it visually, and then obviously like we threw in a couple of like twisty things, rename the graph, etc., but it's not as simple as that. It was quite an intense kind of graph. And the third challenge was create a macro. So a macro is essentially where you repeat a whole lot of like steps that you potentially perform every day, and then run this macro. And in this case, we gave them a set of data. We wanted them to print the data over 2 sheets and have certain columns or amounts of information appear on all the different pages. We wanted header and footer. So these are things that, like, you know, like when you think about it, if you've got lots of time, you can sit down and you can do it. Yeah. But like under that time pressure, which we put the guys, you know, like you jump around, you panic, what am I going to do now? Where is this? How's this? So those were 2 of the tasks.
You know, for many people, they use Excel just as a spreadsheet to add numbers, but wow, it's a powerful tool if you know how to use it properly.
An exceptionally powerful tool. And I think like what happens is a lot of businesses, we gather data, we collect a whole lot of data, but what do you do with that data? How do you get insights? How do you move your business forward with that data? Now, numbers that are standalone, what does that mean? Yeah. But when you can see that data visually, you can actually then hone in on where's it growing, where's my business growing, where's an area that's lacking, what do I do here, what do I do in this, and that's the power of Excel.
Mark, thank you. What was the highlight for you today at the Excel Champs?
Highlights, probably seeing that how we compare versus other people in the industry. Just comparing our skills, because we do our stuff in isolation. We don't know how good other people are, how they're utilizing Excel. So actually seeing that, we're actually doing the right things, it's a pretty nice feeling.
The highlight is being involved in this competition and seeing what we don't know, because I mean, Excel is vast, so we've learnt a lot.
What is your advice to people to overcome those obstacles?
Start at the bottom, because a lot of people think by working years in Excel that they know everything. Got news for you. When you actually come onto one of my training sessions, you'll see the shortcuts make it easier. So if you start on level 1, even if you think you've worked in Excel for 20 years, you start on level 1 in training, it actually gives you the grounding to grow and to understand things like scenarios, solvers, add-ins, etc.
So what kind of homework do you give people to do?
What kind of homework? Read your manual.
Isn't that quite astonishing, eh? That's taking geekery to a whole new level. The Excel Championships.
Well, not so much masters of the universe, but macros of the universe.
It took you a while to think about that, didn't you, hey? Didn't you? Well, I've been playing with quite an interesting device this week. This is the Alcatel Pop smartphone, and it's quite interesting that this company is, well, they've got the French connection, but they're a Chinese company, but really they're making fantastic devices at really well priced price points. This is a 5-inch smartphone. It's running Android. It's got an FM radio. It's got, it's got a reasonably fast processor. It's got a reasonable camera. But you won't believe the price of this phone. When I tell you the price, you're not going to believe it, because it is selling for 2,300 Rand.
I don't believe
SIM
you.
Smartphone. It takes really good photographs, and it's, I mean, for a phone that costs 2,300 Rand, it's not bad. Let me have a look at this. Okay. Let me take a photograph of you. Look at him. Look how handsome this young man is. Look at this. Oh, lovely. Look at that smile. Oh, Good-looking kid. So this is the Alcatel Pop, and they are number 4 in the country at the moment. They're doing some fantastic stuff.
I think the price point is very attractive. I think there are a lot of people who just can't afford a 5 or a 10,000 rand smartphone.
And feel it. There's nothing wrong with it.
No, they're very
There's
good. We've
nothing
had
wrong
them
with
in
it.
the staff office. It's a great history, right? Alcatel was a French brand. It was sold to a Chinese company, TCL, and they've done really great stuff with the brand. It feels good. It's got a quality screen, as you've shown. It's got a great camera for taking close-ups of one's teeth.
Well, I did say that, these devices are going to become like chocolate bars in the future, but it's great that it's becoming affordable. And then it echoes what Toby's been saying. If you haven't watched his TED Talk, where he talks about, the smartphone invading Africa, these are the kinds of devices that are making technology more affordable. But I tell you what we're going to do. A lot of you have been asking us for us to do a feature on this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the different bosses of the different companies, find out what the company is about, what their roadshow is about, what their roadmap is about, what kind of devices are coming up. We've got Alcatel on the radar, we've got Xiaomi on the radar, we've got Apple, we've got Samsung, we've got LG, we've got Sony. We're going to go to all of the device manufacturers and talk to them and find out what makes their product different from all the others and why you should go with their product. So it's going to be an interesting one. That's going to be coming up on Techbusters in the weeks to come, and we'd love to hear your suggestions. Any companies you want us to check out, any questions you want us to specifically ask those manufacturers, you can send us a tweet at Techbusters SA or email us techbusters@abn360.com.
Thank you for joining us, and good night.
Not bad, eh?
Not bad.